Hello friends. So we'll be discussing the UPSC GS paper 1 questions. Now we are starting with year 2010. The question was, discuss the geophysical characteristics of circum-Pacific zone. Circum-Pacific means around the Pacific Ocean. Discuss the geophysical characteristics. Geophysical means physical processes that are happening over there. Discuss the geophysical characteristics means what all physical processes are taking place around circum-Pacific zone. See, what is circum-Pacific zone? See, circum-Pacific means around Pacific Ocean. See, this is the eastern part of Pacific Ocean and this is the western part of Pacific Ocean. So what all physical processes are taking place around circum-Pacific zone? If you see here, in the eastern part of Pacific Ocean, here there are two plates, two small plates, Gorday plate and Juan de Fuca plate. Juan de Fuca plate. These two are small oceanic plates which are getting subducted below this North American plate. This is North American plate. This entire is North American plate. This North American plate is moving westward. The western part of North American plate is continental, and these two are two small oceanic plates which are subducting below North American plate. Gorday plate and Juan de Fuca plate are subducting below North American plate. The remaining part is Pacific plate which is moving westward. This remaining plate is Pacific plate which is moving westward. These two plates are getting subducted below the North American plate, which is causing volcanic activities in North America. In the southern part, here you see there is a Nazca plate. This oceanic crust is Nazca plate which is getting subducted below South American plate. This is South American plate. This entire is South American plate. It is moving westward, and this is Nazca plate. The remaining plate is Pacific plate which is moving westward. This is Nazca plate. It is an oceanic plate. It is getting subducted below South American plate. As a result, this Andes mountains have got formed because of the subduction, and numerous volcanic eruptions, volcanoes are found over here in this belt. This is getting subducted. This activity is happening along the eastern. These are the physical processes. That is subduction of these plates, the convergence of these plates, and subduction of this Nazca plate, Gorday and Juan de Fuca plate below North American plate, Nazca plate getting subducted below South American plate. These are the physical processes which are taking place in the eastern part of Pacific. As a result of these processes, volcanic activities and formation of these fold mountains have taken place. In the western part of Pacific, the remaining Pacific plate which is moving westward, this is Pacific plate. In the western part of Pacific Ocean, this Pacific plate is getting subducted below Eurasian plate in the north, and the Pacific plate is getting subducted below Indo-Australian plate in the south. You can see these dark blue color. These are the trenches. These are the zones where the Pacific plate is getting subducted. See, to the east of Kuril Island, Kuril Trench is there, Japan Trench is there, Bonin Trench is there, Mariana Trench is there, Ryukyu Trench is there, Philippines Trench is there. These are the places where the Pacific plate is getting subducted. As a result of this subduction, here this entire zone is highly prone to seismic activities. The numerous active volcanoes are found. In fact, these islands are the volcanic arc. They represent Kuril Island, Hokkaido, Honshu, Kyushu, Shikoku, Ryukyu, Formosa, Luzon, Mindanao. All these are volcanic islands formed as a result of subduction of Pacific plate below the Eurasian plate. And in the south, Pacific plate is getting subducted below the Indo-Australian plate. This Tonga and Kermatic Trench represent the zone of subduction where the Pacific plate is getting subducted below Indo-Australian plate, which is leading to active volcanic activities in New Zealand. So basically, New Zealand itself is made up of volcanic arc, isn't it? So these are the various physical processes that are taking place. So geophysical characteristics of circum-Pacific belt, that is what all physical processes are taking place in circum-Pacific belt. Basically, it is the zone of subduction. इसे ring of fire भी कहते हैं, because here the plates are getting subducted. Therefore, volcanic activity is very common all along circum-Pacific belt. Therefore, it is also known as ring or ring of fire. Now, next question. Next question is, the process of desertification does not have climatic boundaries. Justify with examples. यहाँ क्वेश्चन में ये कहना चाह रहा है, द प्रोसेस ऑफ desertification does not have climatic boundaries. That means the process of desertification can take place in any climate. It is not, no climate is prone from, climate is protected from desertification. Process of desertification does not have climatic boundaries means the process of desertification can take place in any climate where land is degraded due to unsustainable land use practices. Unsustainable land use practices. What are these? We'll discuss. The process of desertification can take place in any climate where land is degraded due to unsustainable land use practices to an extent that it fails to support any flora or fauna or agricultural activities. मतलब land is degraded by unsustainable agricultural practices to such an extent that the land is unable to support any flora or fauna, or it is unable to support any productive agricultural practices. Then that land is said to be having undergone desertification. So the process of desertification can take place in any climate where land is degraded by unsustainable land use practices to an extent that land is unable to support any agriculture practices of flora and fauna. What are those unsustainable land use practices? These include faulty agricultural practices, large scale deforestation, overgrazing, haphazard urbanization, and one more that is natural is climate change. One is natural. So large scale deforestation, overgrazing, faulty agriculture practices, urbanization, climate change can lead to desertification in any climate. Now they are saying justify with examples. You can take the case of this Sahel region. On world we'll discuss various regions where this process has taken place. See, the process of desertification, this is Sahel region. Sahel region lies to the south of Sahara Desert and to the north of savanna climate. In between, this is Sahel region. It is a semi-arid tract. Lying between Sahara Desert in the north and savanna climate in the south. Here it is desertified. Why? It is a glaring example of desertification because of both natural and man-made factors. Here prolonged droughts and systematic overexploitation, that means unsustainable land use practices like overgrazing, faulty agriculture practices. So here drought, which is a natural phenomena here, and unsustainable agriculture practices like faulty agriculture, overgrazing, has made it one of the world's most alarming desertification example. दूसरा एरिया है Murray-Darling Basin of Australia. This lies to the west of Great Dividing Range. So, Great Dividing Range is lies in the east. It is having sharp edge towards east, and it slopes gently towards west. As a result, Great Dividing Range does not allow the moisture-bearing winds to penetrate inland. That is one of the basic reasons why Australia is a big desert, because this Great Dividing Range having sharp edge towards east does not allow these moisture bearing winds to cause rainfall inland. This Murray Darling Basin happened to be the most Murray and Darling are the two rivers. This is the temperate zone of Australia, but because of Great Dividing Range, the moisture of these rain bearing winds does not reach there. It is in eastern and southeastern part of Australia, and it is subject to desertification. Desertification is a big issue over here. Here both again natural and man-made factors are responsible. Here also droughts as well as overgrazing, salinization, soil degradation, both due to faulty agriculture practices have led to desertification, large-scale desertification in Murray-Darling Basin. Then see the Great Plains of USA. These the Great Plains of USA on Canada both. In 1930s, because of intensive agriculture, these Great Plains to a large extent were rendered into wasteland or dust bowl. Great Plains of USA and Canada experienced severe desertification in 1930s. Here इंटेंसिव फार्मिंग, यहाँ बहुत इंटेंसिव फार्मिंग होती है यहाँ पर. इंटेंसिव फार्मिंग कपल्ड विद ड्रॉट एंड स्ट्रॉन्ग विंड्स स्ट्रिप्ड द टॉप सॉइल, पूरी टॉप सॉइल उड़ा ले गई, and basically from large area, thus turning this fertile farmland into barren dust covered wasteland. 1930s में later on इसको डस्ट बाउल भी कहने लगे थे ग्रेट प्लेन्स ऑफ यूएसए को, but subsequently it was recovered. Then this see Caatinga region of Brazil. This Caatinga region of Brazil. Here you see it is in very close to equator. Caatinga region in northeastern Brazil faces desertification due to overgrazing, unsustainable agriculture practices and deforestation. मतलब यहाँ पर basically all credit goes to human activities, otherwise it is close to equator, receives adequate rainfall, but this because of these unsustainable agricultural practices like overgrazing, deforestation and faulty agriculture practices, it has also large tract of this Caatinga region has been transformed into desert. Andalusia region of Spain, this southern part, Andalusia, southern part where Seville city is located. Basically in this part, because of over irrigation to olive trees have resulted into desertification. So you can see in different parts of the world desertification, in temperate areas also, in tropical areas also, in semi-arid areas also, everywhere in Mediterranean climate also desertification has taken place. It knows no boundaries, but in most areas man-made activities have expedited the process of natural forces. जैसे Sahel region or second region, this Southeast Murray-Darling Basin, they face prolonged droughts, but that natural act was further compounded by human activities of overgrazing and faulty agriculture and deforestation that further aggravated and led the land area to transform into deserts. Now, next question. Next question is how the melting of glaciers in Himalayas can adversely impact. How will melting of Himalayan glaciers have far-reaching impact on India's water resources? ये कह रहे हैं अगर हिमालयाज के ग्लेशियर्स मेल्ट कर जाते हैं, मेल्ट से मतलब है श्रिंक कर जाते हैं, तो हाउ विल इट इम्पैक्ट ऑन द वाटर रिसोर्स ऑफ इंडिया? अरे भाई जबरदस्त इम्पैक्ट होगा. Most of the Himalayan rivers are fed by the melting of these glaciers during lean season. जैसे मार्च, अप्रैल, मई, जून, मई का महीना होता है जब रेनफॉल नहीं होती है. These northern rivers derive much of their water from the melting of glaciers. So Himalayan glaciers act as natural reservoirs, releasing water during the dry summer season due to melting of ice. अगर ये ग्लेशियर्स श्रिंक कर गए तो मेल्ट क्या करेगा? There will be no more ice left for melting. If these glaciers shrink, then there will be no more ice for melting. And these rivers, northern rivers, which derive bulk of their water by melting of ice, they will be deprived of this water, and these rivers will run almost dry. So as glaciers shrink, the melt water will decrease, leading to reduced river flow during lean season. In the system, Ganga system and Brahmaputra system are the three river systems that drain the northern part of Indian subcontinent. All these river systems derive bulk of their water requirement from these rivers, from these glaciers that melt during lean season. Lean season कौन सा होता है? March, April, May, June. In this season there is no rain, and basically the rivers are overwhelmingly dependent on the water derived from the melting of these glaciers. Now what will be the impact on water resource? Water resources will shrink, water resources will decrease. This will not only affect the quantity of water available in India, but will also timing of availability of water, because if the glaciers shrink, water won't be available during the months of March, April, May. As a result, it will not only affect the quantity but also the timing of availability of water. That will disrupt the traditional agricultural practices followed in India. हम उस समय जायद क्रॉप्स ग्रो करते हैं, क्या करेंगे जब पानी नहीं होगा? तो we'll have to, the traditional agriculture practices will get abruptly disrupted. As glaciers shrink, there will be less water available for irrigation. Irrigation के लिए पानी की availability कम हो जाएगी, and basically affecting the crop yield and food security. The पानी नहीं होगा तो irrigation नहीं होगा तो yield of crop will be less and the food security will be adversely threatened. Farmers may be forced to change the cropping pattern. अब भाई पानी नहीं होगा तो राइस कल्टीवेशन पंजाब, हरियाणा, राजस्थान जैसे एरिया में कैसे होगा? Farmers will be forced to change the cropping pattern. They will go for those crops which require less water. This may adversely impact the productivity and the income of the farmer. भाई राइस एक में पैसा मिलता है, पंजाब में कौन राइस खाता है? Rice is grown for export to other states. So basically, when rice is a water relation crop, so farmers, in case of in shrinkage of glacier, when water supply will be adversely impacted, farmers may be forced to change the cropping pattern, growing crops that require less water, which could impact productivity and income of these farmers. अब बड़े बड़े शहर हैं जैसे दिल्ली, take the case of Delhi. In Delhi, the potable water, drinking water is entirely obtained from Yamuna, and Yamuna originates from Yamunotri. और यमुनोत्री ग्लेशियर का श्रिंक कर गया तो लीन सीजन में दिल्ली में तो पीने के लिए पानी भी नहीं मिलेगा. दिल्ली एनसीआर में, हियर द एंटायर दिल्ली एनसीआर इज डिपेंडेंट ऑन वाटर ऑफ यमुना. यमुना से ही पानी आता है, एंड ड्यूरिंग लीन सीजन व्हेन ग्लेशियर सप्लाई ऑफ वाटर टू यमुना थ्रू मेल्टिंग ऑफ ग्लेशियर विल बी affected. The Delhi ground water तो है नहीं दिल्ली में, basically ground water tables are very low, ground water है नहीं, and the sole source of water is Yamuna for domestic and industrial purpose. So big cities like Delhi, which rise overwhelmingly on river for drinking water and industrial purpose, may face severe shortages and increased competition for this vital resource. अब सरफेस जैसे ग्लेशियर्स मेल्ट करेंगे, सरफेस वाटर की कमी होगी, पीपल हैव नो अदर अल्टरनेटिव अदर देन टैपिंग द ग्राउंड वाटर. ग्राउंड वाटर ऑलरेडी इज हाईली स्ट्रेस्ड. In Punjab and Haryana, the rate of withdrawal of groundwater is more than the rate of recharge of underlying aquifers. That is, groundwater development in Punjab, Haryana is more than 100%. It is 120, 130%. That means more water is being withdrawn as compared to recharge. So water tables are continuously lowering in Punjab and Haryana क्योंकि पानी ज़्यादा withdraw. Groundwater development is more than 100%. That means more water is being withdrawn than the underground water is receiving. So with groundwater resources already under stress, and if surface water, if glaciers shrink, then melt water will not be available, the surface water will be in short supply, then the groundwater resources will be put to further pressure, further rate of extraction of groundwater would increase. जब सरफेस वाटर कम होगा तो ऑब्वियस सी बात है हाइड्रो इलेक्ट्रिक प्लांट्स आर रन बाय सरफेस वाटर. जब पानी नहीं होगा तो हाइड्रो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेट नहीं होगी. जब इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेट नहीं होगी, द इंडस्ट्रीज एंड ऑल द ह्यूमन एक्टिविटीज आर प्राइमरली डिपेंडेंट ऑन इलेक्ट्रिसिटी. मैं पढ़ा हूं तुमको क्यों? बिकॉज इलेक्ट्रिसिटी है. इलेक्ट्रिसिटी इज अ बेसिक इनपुट फॉर एनी ह्यूमन एक्टिविटी, इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी, प्रोडक्टिव एक्टिविटी, एनी सर्विस और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग. जब हाइड्रो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी डिक्रीज होगी, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेशन विल बी एडवर्सली इंपैक्टेड. All productive activities will be put to rest because nothing can be conducted without electricity. The wetlands, the aquatic habitats, they will be lost. Immense loss of biodiversity will take place with the decline in shrinking glaciers. The supply of water will shrink. These aquatic organisms, this biodiversity will be adversely impacted. Now, next question. Account for the why nowadays steel plants are getting located away from raw material, away from sources of raw material. Next question है. We'll take a break, then we'll continue.